We're getting close to missing the mark, but I'm making a video today. This video is going to be pretty much how good is Will Cuylle actually. So Will Cuylle, we got a taste of Will Cuylle last year in the NHL. I believe he played 4 games for the Rangers, right? Why don't we just check? 4 games for the Rangers, totaling 10 penalty minutes, a -2, no points, no goals, but it's fine. Only played about 6 minutes a night. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Will Cuylle put together a really good year for the Hartford Wolfpack. 25 goals, 20 assists, and 45 points. Amongst Hartford Wolfpack skaters, Will Cuylle led in shots, was second in points, as you can see right here, and was #1 in goals. Will Cuylle arguably was Hartford Wolfpack's most valuable offensive player when Johnny Brzezinski was not present. Bless you. Grace in the shower. A 14.1 shooting percentage, tons of power play points, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points, 5 game winners. He had a good year. He had a really good year this year. Coming off his final year in Windsor last year, where he had 43 goals and 80 points in 59 games, 31 points and 15 goals in the playoffs in the OHL. Now, I was down on Will Cuylle from the very start. My issue with Will Cuylle was I had Ryan Gropp hangover, so I believed in him very, very little. This year, having attended multiple Hartford Wolfpack games when they played the Charlotte Checkers, I can tell you right now that Will Cuylle is pretty damn good. And his 4-game cameo with the New York Rangers, were really good. I'm kind of surprised they sent them down. Now, when it comes to Will Cuylle, well, I'll get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about Will Cuylle, the player, right? So we see the numbers. Great, cool, awesome. Not going to get to that just yet. So Will Cuylle, the draft prospect, this is before the Rangers drafted him. This was his write-up prior to the draft by the hockey writers. Some quotables I want to touch on real quick. Dauber prospects. Tony Ferrari mentioned this one. Will Cuylle is an excellent two-way player. Doesn't have high-end upside, but he possesses an outstanding shot when he uses it. Neutral zone defense is very strong, as he is a transition stopper in the middle of the ice. Mark Stone-Lite, maybe? Sam Cosentino, or Cosentino, Sportsnet, has climbed a premium developmental ladder from minor hockey with Toronto's fame Marlboro program. It's now time to assert himself as a legit power forward prospect. Mark Stone-Lite, Brock Otten of OHL prospect, good side winger who plays a power game, good skater who can generate power, drives the net, and protects the puck well through traffic. Cuylle also has a very good release on his shot and projects as a goal scorer at the next level. Pro shot, large frame, game-to-game physicality, hockey IQ. Mark Stone-Lite, anybody? Am I kind of like, am I planting the seed? I don't know. You tell me. I would love to be planting a Mark Stone-Lite seed because I freaking love Mark Stone. And if he could be half of Mark Stone, it'd be pretty damn good. Now, one thing we saw a lot out of Will Cuylle this year, especially with the Rangers, was physicality. Fought Keegan Colasar. Had 17.24 hits per 60. 4.31 takeaways per 60. Mark Stone-Lite. And 2.15 giveaways per 60 with only 1 giveaway. So, yeah. Whatever. I am a pretty big Will Cuylle fan. He did all this averaging only less than 7 minutes of ice time a game. My big thing with Will Cuylle is I pray if the Rangers do call him up and give him a shot in the NHL next year, that it's not on the 4th line. Because I don't think Will Cuylle is a 4th liner. And I prefer that we didn't develop him as one. If Will Cuylle gets a shot next year, I'd like to see it in the top 9. And with the cap crunch the New York Rangers are in, I forgot to pull this up. With the cap crunch the New York Rangers are in, I think it makes sense to call him up next year, especially if he has a good training camp. I'm not saying force him into the NHL and rush him and, do all this, that, and the other thing, but it wouldn't hurt to give the kid a shot, at least an extended look in the preseason to see what he could do. With a cap hit next season of $828,000. Pretty damn good value for your young prospect. He's got 2 years left till he's an RFA, does not have arbitration rights as he's coming off his ELC in 2 years. I don't see the harm in giving Will Cuylle a shot. Quite frankly, I think he deserves a shot after having a great year in the minors. When was the last time the Rangers developed a good player out of Hartford? It's been a long time. Wouldn't mind seeing it. Especially if it means he can get a top 9 role and is playing more than 12 minutes a night. With 25 goals and all the scouts saying that he's got a great release, why not give him a shot? Because the Rangers evidently could outscore in the playoffs, so why not have a guy that can shoot the puck? Obviously, him and Brendan Othman will be fighting it out for a spot on the NHL roster. Tell you the truth, I would rather see Cuylle over Othman if that came down to the decision, just so Othman has a little bit extra time to marinate, but that is not an indictment of Othman because we all know how good Brendan Othman could be and should be, but let him marinate a little bit. Let's not rush him if he's not 100% ready, or let them both play. Put them both on the same line. Split them up. Do whatever you got to do. I would love to see both of them on the roster because it's been a really long time since the New York Rangers called up a young forward and had them immediately do well. It's been a really long time. I'd love to see a young guy come in and dominate right off the rip. More likely than not, it's not going to happen. So if they can come in and play a pretty big role, whether that's Will Cuylle as a strong third line two-way forward with a scoring touch and a little bit of physicality, I'd love that. Same thing with Brendan Othman. But don't call him up and just throw him on the fourth line. I think that would be a major mistake. And I think that's one the Rangers should and will avoid, assuming that this regime learned anything from the past 100 years of the New York Rangers' existence, and that you cannot rush players in the NHL. And if you do rush them, don't put them on the fourth line at Elias Anderson. That's all I have to say about that. That's really all I had today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Will Cuylle. Me personally, I think he should and will be in the NHL to start the season next year, especially if he has a strong camp. Hell, even if he has a mediocre camp, I think we should expect it, especially with the Rangers cap situation they are in. I don't anticipate, nor should any of us anticipate the Rangers making any moves in terms of cap dumps at the draft. I think the Rangers are going to bridge Lafreniere and bridge K'Andre Miller, and I think we're going to be using a lot of young guys and bargain bin shopping in the offseason, especially for Smart. We don't have very many picks, okay? The New York Rangers this season have a first, no second, not even our third, not a fourth, a fifth that's not ours, 2 6, and no seventh. Next year we've got a first, a second, no third, a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, blah, 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 blah. The projected cost of dumping Barclay Goodrow would be a third-round pick. We only have one of those. Let's hold on to that. We don't have one next year. We don't have one the year after that. We don't have a second-round pick the year after next. Thank you, Patrick Nemeth, and thank you, Chris Drury, for signing him. Good job, buddy old pal. You fucking jerk. Big, strong, slow defenseman. Oh, we need him. 3-year deal. Asshole. Stop bribing people to take shitty contracts when you don't need to. Unless you want to sign Lafreniere or K'Andre Miller to a long-term, man, I hope it works out in our favor and we get him cheap later for expensive now type deal, which I'm not anticipating. We'll get into that in a different video. I pray to God we don't bribe anyone to take good draw off our hands. I just don't think it makes any damn sense. But, topic for another video. You guys comment your thoughts down below on Will Cuylle. Should he make the roster next season? Will he make the roster next season? Will Cuylle is a good hockey player. I like him. I'm a big fan. And if he's Mark Stone-Lite, sign me the F up, because that is the comparison I'm getting from all the quotes and the little bit of watching we got to see of him in the NHL and the kind of somewhat medium amount that I got to see him in the AHL, at least live and a little bit on AHL TV. I'd love to see him, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about Will Cuylle? Will he make the roster next season? Should he make the roster next season? If he does, should he be on the fourth line? Should he be on the third line? Or should he be back in the minors and just let him over-marinate? You guys tell me. I want to hear from you. Thank you all for watching the video. If you want to make it end, much as I said, you're not in hearing aids. 4 days in a row. It counts. It's not midnight yet. Thank you all for watching the video. Thank you. Peace out. Deuces. Yay. Goodbye. Smell ya. I'm done now. Relax. Everybody chill. All right? I'll see you on Twitter. Jesus.